Welcome to Geek of the Week, the official show at the Aberystwyth of Cartoons and Comic Society, brought to you by your two hosts, Fraser and Jacob. I'm Fraser.
This is Jacob. Hello there. How are we doing? It is Wednesdays. It is 8 till 10. You're back on Geek of the Week with a very angry Welshman and a very chill Mancunian.
This show is, just to get it out there, is sponsored by the great nation of Wakanda. Until very recently thought as a third world country, but under recent discoveries that appears not to be the case. And now they are sharing their wealth with the world, including us. Today's a very special show, Jacob.
It is. Somebody wants to come on the show.
Someone's here. We have a very special guest. We have Matt Jasper.
Oh, not that special.
Oh, you guys.
Come on.
I'm very excited.
We've got a guest geek.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk nerdy for 2 hours with somebody else.
Yeah.
Wow, I see how it is.
Somebody wanted to come on the show.
Shade.
Somebody liked us this much. They wanted to come on the show.
Right. We've not just bribed them or
We haven't just bribed them on. This is a genuine person that wants to.
Well,
oh my.
Fraser, I mean, you are gonna, you're gonna give me what you promised, right?
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that.
Do I get this? Do I?
No. We'll talk about that.
Sorry, I shouldn't mention.
Yeah. Jacob's gonna,
We're
gonna
talking
go on
films,
about
right? I thought it was.
Yeah.
films.
It's fine.
Yeah, sure, man. Sure.
It's fine. Yeah. We'll sort it out later. So to start off, basically, we're gonna get to know Matt a bit.
Oh, we.
And his geeky origin, so basically how he got into the wonderful world of loving geek and geekdom.
So how did you? What was your introduction? What was your tragic origin story?
I mean, before I became properly sort of geeky about stuff, I think I'd always sort of geek things. I mean, I've got memories of being taken to see Spider-Man 2 in the cinema, and I mean, it was probably my favorite movie at the time I saw it, but I kind of went through waves afterwards. But now, as an adult, I think that probably is still my favorite film.
Oh yeah, you get such a greater appreciation for it.
And the original Spider-Man, that is also a great film. And it you know how people always have that movie that they've seen 100 times?
Yeah.
I've seen Star Wars 100 times. I've seen Ghostbusters 100 times. That is literally the movie I've seen 100 times. That was on clockwork in my house, just the DVD. But I think the proper moment where I became geeky about stuff, where I was I want to actively dedicate time towards this. It was one spring evening, 26th of March, 2005.
Ooh, so close then. You're coming up to your anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When Doctor Who came back, the modern reboot, the first episode, Rose. And maybe it was something to do with it being a TV show, and the certain thing where the TV it's in your house and it can really sort of grab you. But Doctor Who was really sort of the first thing that just grabbed me and wouldn't let go, and I was fascinated by it, and I was fascinated. It really struck my imagination, and I wanted to, really dedicate time towards it to find out more about it. Finding out that it had a 40-something year history prior, I was
Must have just been yes,
yeah,
there's so much.
And I think Doctor Who also sort of started off my passion for film and television, and my goal to eventually work in that industry, because
nice one.
they don't do it anymore, which is a shame. But back then, immediately after the episode on BBC One, you'd switch over to BBC
Was
Three.
this behind the scenes, the confidential stuff?
Confidential.
This
Oh
was
yeah,
awesome.
Doctor Who Confidential.
It was an
I
episode-
actually remember that show. Yeah,
It was just as long as the actual episode, and it gave you such an insight as to what it's like to make genre material for television, and or just the general stages of television production.
And sometimes it used to be better than the actual when you'd have a dull episode, you'd be like, but Confidential's on after, it's fine.
It's just this episode had pigmen in it. That was good. But how'd they make the pigmen?
Yeah. But how?
Because it'd be say 50 minutes or something like that, and then 10 minutes you just switch over to BBC Three. That was great. I do remember that. I love that.
Because I remember when they were recycling through, BBC Three recycled through loads of Doctor Who's, but they'd always do the back and back with Doctor Who and Doctor Who Confidential. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is the ultimate binge.
Yeah, but they were always as 15-minute cut downs of them. So it was and they've never released the full Confidential episodes on DVD. The only way you can find them is if someone recorded them and then put it onto YouTube, which wasn't particularly that much.
No, it wasn't that.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of that's been lost. But
I know, which is a real shame. You think iPlayer would have absorbed all that and gone, this is where we can get him.
God, an origin story with no dead parents. There was no gamma bomb. You weren't bitten by anyone. There was.
Oh, sorry. Was I supposed to make up one?
No.
Like a wacky one. Oh, sorry.
No. We're joking. That's okay. So we've got a bunch of other
I was
stuff.
bitten by a radioactive TV bug, which made
Bitten by the remote.
bitten by the remote. We've also got. So this is a nice little thing we like to do. I don't know if you're still completing yours, but
I think I've got it.
we have a little Mount Rushmore, the famous little thing in America, where it's like basically it's a top 4. Like it can be either like geeky icons, like directors or like actors, or it can be certain characters, or just sort of like your 4, the 4 people who express your geekiness.
Fraser surprised me with this. Like as soon as I was like, "Wait, what? Oh God!"
I've kind of thought about it, and it kind of relates back to what I've been saying just. But for character, I have 4. And for characters, because I mentioned that Doctor Who and Spider-Man, the Raimi movies, really sparked my interest and put me on the sort of the path that I'm on right now. The characters, I would have Spider-Man.
Oh, love
Tobey
it.
Maguire.
Tobey Maguire,
Spider-Man.
Nice.
Doctor Who. We have to be
which
specific,
Doctor?
we have to
Which,
be my boy Chris.
Ah,
Eccleston.
Chris Eccleston.
And then I would have the 2 people who were behind those iterations of the show and the movies, which was Sam Raimi.
Nice.
He's still like an amazing director, and especially if you go back at like his early work. Like his first movie was like The Evil Dead.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, that's the thing. He's so he was so based on like horror and stuff like that, but like that mix of horror and comedy, and he brought it really well to Spider-Man. Like that balance of like perfectly, like the comedy doesn't undercut anything, and it's like perfectly timed. Sorry, I'll let you carry on.
And then my other one would be Russell T Davies.
Yeah, cool.
yeah, the
Of course,
man.
kickstarted Doctor Who, and even when in his era Doctor Who had bad episodes, I think you could always tell there was like a real, I don't know, it's just like seeing the behind the scenes like production and the whole family that was making it. It always felt like there was a lot of love and passion.
Yeah,
going
like they
into it.
clearly cared about it. Like even if like stuff would go wrong, it's like it's not something they've just sort of like thrown out there. Which is maybe why they don't have Confidential anymore, because they're just like, we just sort of threw this all together. We don't really want to show what went backstage. There was writers screaming
I
and
picture
directors.
if they do it now, it's generally just a fist fire around a table, being like, "I want this scene now. Don't write it like that."
Oh, it's a shame we didn't have you on last week, because when we were talking about that too, that would
Doctor
be-
Who logo,
I listened
yeah.
to last
that
week's
would have been
show,
perfect.
The new Doctor Who logo. I was loving it. I was having.
Oh yeah. It's a nice looking logo. I mean, it's fine. Like it's not the best looking logo ever,
I don't
but-
think it's. I like the. Oh yeah, no, I brought up. All of them. There it is. That one. I like the old ones that they had before, with like the oval. The one with like Doctor Who in the oval with like the yellow oval. I think it was like
Yeah,
Christopher Eccleston time.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
like that one. But I think this is like modern and edgy.
Do you reckon they're gonna have a new like intro, like the little
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
classic
absolutely.
intro,
I think
like
so.
all glammed up.
Just like when Russell and David left and Stephen went out together, it's going to be a top to bottom
Pete, I was gonna
refresh
say,
of
like
everything.
Peter Capaldi's is like a mishmash of like clockwork and time, and the ones that it's obviously 12. Like they had the clock. Yeah, it was Peter Capaldi's is pretty weird.
Well, what always was a missed opportunity with Capaldi is that because I think whenever you have a new Doctor, you should completely reinvent the show from top to bottom, just because you want it to feel new. Other than just the new actor. Like,
And it's a way of bringing in new watchers as well, because it's like you say, like so many people came in when Christopher Eccleston, when they brought it all back. So many people came in for that, and then so many more came in when David Tennant came, because you did not restart, but like you sort of like, okay, it's a new direction we're going in. And then I feel like that's why the Matt Smith sort of like, that's sort of why it didn't really. There was many reasons, but like this sort of like when that change happened, it just felt like, I don't know. I feel like that's when a lot of people went off.
but at the same time, like I quite like that because it very clearly defines those eras of the
Yeah.
show, and it's just like, we are in something new now.
Yeah, and it's like the James Bond stuff, really, isn't it?
Oh sure, yeah.
But
I think
a lot more commitment
I think
than a few movies.
I was gonna say, I think that's what they're doing with this. Like they're just reproduction to everything and starting from
absolutely.
the bottom.
I mean, I can't wait to see what like the inside of the TARDIS is going to look like now.
Same. It'll be so cool. Yeah. I like this. I like the obviously it's behind the scenes, but like the sets of them building it and then just to start like taking it down and yeah.
Welcome back. You are now in the film section of Geek of the Week with our guest Matt Jasper.
Hey.
What up, guys? So we're going to talk bit of film news. So the first one is Flashpoint. Got 2 directors. Let's hope they stick around.
The 40-second pair of directors in the Flash movie.
50 second.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I must have fallen asleep and missed like 10.
That's what happens, man. Yeah, so it's John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. If you recognise those names, well done to you. They've recently directed Game Night, which is coming out soon. It's looking like it's getting some positive stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they announced it. But they're also 2 of the 6 writers of Homecoming, which, you know, that alone isn't enough. I feel like that's not enough credit to get this Flashpoint.
Maybe they were the 2 who wrote the stuff I liked.
Yeah.
And the 4 who wrote the stuff I didn't.
I liked how you said that and crossed your fingers. You
I'm
actually...
hoping they're the ones that did I
was having a look at them. Like the Game Night stuff doesn't look bad. I'm excited to see when it comes out.
Yeah, Game Night, because it's been getting some positive press, because they were rumoured a while ago, and people were like, I don't know. They're like, oh yeah, but they wrote Homecoming. It was like, yeah, 6 people wrote Homecoming. You know, that was a team effort. That wasn't just these 2. But yeah, now that we've Game Night, a bit of positive press and comedic people as well. Going to make Flash a bit of humour.
They went through Lord and Miller, and then they had some other person on, and then they had
some guy, man. He did Mio and the Dying Girl, potentially, or he did a film like that.
And then you had Robert Zemeckis.
No, Robert Zemeckis was rumoured, and that was my my goodness, that would be incredible.
And now they've actually confirmed.
And now they've come back to reality.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, like, to be fair, these guys could drop out.
I know. I mean,
yes. This could just very much.
Yeah. We could be talking about this again in a couple of weeks and being like, well, those guys went.
I think the main point of contention, which has driven people away, because I think this was sort of brought up in like some of their statements when they left, some of the directors, is that WB aren't looking to make a Flash movie here. They're making to look a Flashpoint movie. They are actively trying to use this film as an excuse to reboot fix everything.
You're exactly right, because it's no longer about Ezra Miller's Flash. It's about it's essentially Days of Future Pasting it. It's totally rebooting it all, because they have screwed up, but like they are looking to replace Batman, obviously looking to replace everybody else.
Yeah, because they've confirmed like Batman in the they're trying to confirm Batman into the films and stuff like that.
Whereas I think I know one of the directors said that he was looking forward to working on a real nice personal story with the Flash, but that's not what WB have in mind.
Yeah. Great.
Well, it's kind of interesting as well, because it sort of parallels the comic, because the Flashpoint story in the comics was supposed to just be like a Flash story, but then DC were like, no, we're resetting our universe. So they like rushed and sort of tied it into New 52, which is sort of like New 52 had a rocky start because of it. But it's just interesting to see how it parallels. Like, no, we're rebooting our universe too. So we'll do what they did in the comics, and it should work, right?
I'm skeptical for this. Like, I'm not taking this as, these are definitely 100% confirmed. I will believe these when I like see a trailer or when I see production going in. Or
I don't even think, because I think with production they'll probably like
not even that.
What script is this as well? Whose script is this?
I was going to say this must the Flashpoint film. I was just thinking about it. Like the Flashpoint film must be like a piece of lost and found like gym equipment that's just been like handed out, and then like because many directors are getting it and then like handing it back, and then hopefully somebody else
use it. It was a bit broken.
I mean, it's like the Venom movie. Like I'm not going to believe it exists until I'm in the cinema watching it. Although, now that it seems abundantly clear they are going to definitely use this to reboot the universe, and try and fix everything they've screwed up over the past couple of movies.
But that's the thing as well. They can keep all the stuff people like and get rid of the stuff people don't.
Well, that's sort of what was leading into. What would you guys want to see kept, and what would you especially want to see dropped?
What I want to see kept, I know they won't keep. Like this is gonna be controversial. I don't mind Ben Affleck as Batman. Like,
I think
he's a good Batman. Yeah,
really?
People think he's a good Batman. It's just the fact that Ben Affleck doesn't want to be it. Like people enjoy him. People's like Batman vs Superman. They're like, Ben Affleck was brilliant as Batman. I was proved wrong.
I think keep Batman's Ben Affleck. Keep Henry Cavill as Superman. Obviously get rid of Suicide Squad. Personally for me. Keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman because I like Gal Gadot.
Oh no, I think that's a universal thing. Like
people would riot.
Yeah, just like Wonder Woman stays the same. It's all good. Like you've done that well.
I mean, Ben Affleck, like he was one of the better his performance was one of the better aspects of Batman versus Superman, and because when you're playing Batman, it's very sort of easy for the whole brooding aspect of the character to come across quite forced. But I feel he actually executed that fairly well. But by the time Justice League rolled around, I think you could kind of tell that he realized.
I think the reshoots hurt it as well, because like you see the comparisons between like the different shots between Snyder and Whedon's, and like you Batman's looks a bit like
you can tell he's not been working out.
Affleck looks chubbier. He looks more like, oh my god,
and just his general mood the vibe that you get from him is just like.
Yeah.
All right.
Obviously, but Ben doesn't want to do it anymore. I think there's a lot of things you can change in continuity as well. Like obviously with the Robin situations, like I don't know how many you want dead and I don't know how many you want alive.
Goes without saying, you get rid of Jared Leto.
Obviously, obviously all the Suicide Squad madness. Like this will be a disappointment to me, but I know they're going to recast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Perfect.
I know. I mean, I know I'm in the minority here, but
I don't like because they sort of set up that League of Our Own. Like, so they kind of seem like they're sticking with him. I honestly thought when I saw it in Justice League, and obviously it's he does the bait and switch with someone else. I honestly thought at first time I saw it, I was like, oh, they've recast Lex Luthor, and then I was like, and then when he was on the boat, I was like, oh no, it's still Jesse, and I was like, okay.
I think they're keeping Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke. Well, I hope they keep Joe Manganiello.
I know, you just introduced him.
He was meant to be in the Batman movie, but now they said they're going for a more noir tone. It's like, does Deathstroke really?
Yeah, it's not gonna. It'd be cool to see Deathstroke maybe in like the Flashpoint movie or Titans.
Show up in something.
What do you think they'll do with Aquaman?
Titans.
I mean,
well, they got his movie in December, haven't they?
Very, very much depends on how that goes.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa, he's a charismatic presence, but I feel he's been woefully miscast as Aquaman, especially when you've got Lobo around.
Oh God, don't even forget.
There's rumblings of a Lobo movie. Like you've literally got the living
Lobo
Lobo right
here.
He's right. No, like I think. Aquaman, you are right. It will depend on the film, especially with what Jason Momoa is like.
But that's a film that, like, I'm definitely like, okay, Aquaman's happening because it's, it's wrapped.
It's done.
Well, it's in post-production.
They've done like that. I believe, and like James Wan, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can trust him. So like that, I believe, and like if that's okay, then I guess he stays. But yeah.
Shall we
go
go
to
to
whatever they want? Wow, if you want to talk about outrage, wow. Ready Player One,
oh boy,
coming out in the end of March, released a few homage posters where they basically redid famous 80s, 90s and noughties posters in their own unique form. So they did like Back to the Future, they did Blade Runner.
The Breakfast Club as well.
Is there Breakfast Club? Oh dear.
You name it.
Oh dear.
They did it. They even did the Matrix. They did the Iron Giant. Literally, if you Google it,
just go. Google.
People
look at that face. Look at that face.
People on all forms of social media were bashing this.
They have some kind of opinion. What's that?
They've done the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Well. Sorry, I'm just seeing this all on the screen now.
There's so many. It's just.
This is just such cringe.
They've just redone. Do you know? So Fraser went on online and was like, "Oh, people are bashing the Ready Player One movie." I was like, "I mean, I know people won't like it." And then I, like half an hour later, went on Twitter and I saw people bashing it. And oh my god, do people hate this movie? Like, dear.
You really didn't believe. I feel like you didn't believe me, and I was like, "No, dude, honestly, it's like it's bad."
People aren't that big a fan of the book, as far as I remember. I mean, it's very.
So this is one of the only books I've read. I read the book and I read it last year for Christmas. The first act of the book is really good, really intense, and it totally grips you in. The second act is boring as boring. I just had to check the time. It's really like dull, and he does nothing, and like he really slows the story down. But then Act 3, like it picks up, and obviously it's the end, and it's like the big fight. But it's really. I
reckon, the novel divides people because for some people it's reference. You know this? Do you like this? Do you like this? And then some people like the creative way that it's used. And I reckon it's going to be the exact same film it's going to be the exact same thing with the film. People are going to be like, oh, that's a reference. Oh, that's a reference. It's like, all right, you're kind of forcing it now. Yeah. But some people would be like, oh, that's a cool way of using that. Like some of the obviously, this is a nice idea. Like, you're calling back to the 90s, but you're doing it with your characters. But yeah.
I mean, I just wouldn't be a fan of this because, like, sometimes they do this, like, when a Marvel movie comes out, I remember with Spider-Man, like there was a poster where they actively tried to replicate the cover of Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
And
Let me get it up.
Everyone else loved it, but I was just like, I had the same reaction I had to this, which was just like for me, that sort of stuff just doesn't really do it.
What?
It's
What
like a
issue was it?
tryhard.
Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Okay.
So it's
The
original.
first.
Okay,
appearance of
give me a
Spider-Man.
moment. I'll be the man in the chair while you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because they still like all the promotional material. They still used it, didn't they? And yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that made.
Because they even did it for like that. Yeah. Like a
Bloody hell,
homecoming
that's
comic.
Although that's
weird.
more sort of like nice web swinging you actually get in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, which is whatever.
Yeah, these. I think the general consensus on these posters is that it's absolutely hard. Like these are not what.
They're offended. There was one comment. It was hilarious. It was like, a new tagline for it. It was like, "Do you like the '80s? Not for long."
I saw something like, "Oh, do you like reference?" It was, "Do you like references?" Yeah, well, we're gonna shove them down your throat
Yeah.
until you're sick of them. Like, there was others, and it was like, "Oh, I'm glad Ready Player One isn't based on anything."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys might know this, but like about last month, remember when I went to interview at Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
For a
Oh,
creative
yeah.
services internship. There was like a little exercise where they showed you stuff from Ready Player One and asked you to go and go away and form a presentation about how you would market this to which kind of people. And I can gladly say we didn't come up with anything as bad as this, but still, there was
That's brilliant.
There was still that sort of cynical attitude of taking it. It's like, all right, pander to nostalgia,
Yeah.
but make this for like the 10 things you missed videos. Make it all these trailers better have like red rings around them.
Yeah.
Just all the references. It doesn't matter about the film.
This is a nerdy YouTuber's wet dream, because like he'll just watch the film and be like, "This is not even 10 things. It's literally like in the triple digits. Like, oh, look at all of these things."
Well, that's the thing. Like some of the YouTubers get sick of doing them, don't they? And it's just like, oh, another one of these, and they're going to be with Ready Player One, and they're like, oh, there was so many. I couldn't even be bothered looking. Like everything's a reference here.
I mean, I know Mr. Sunday Movie sort of started and popularized all that, but now his thing is
He's
sort
so
of like,
sick of.
yeah, I kind of like that he's kind of sick of it, and he's he adds a lot of personality to it. Like he doesn't do these things with like a whole lot of like he does it with a lot of irony. Like, he's not
like
taking
this.
it
I think it was like for Justice League, he does it all about the hair or something. It's hilarious. Like
I know
he could, and he's involving like Nick Mason more as well, like his podcast buddy. And he's just it's more like, oh yeah, we'll just talk. Yeah,
I know. This is going back to the poster. But did anybody see the leg poster?
Oh
of
yeah,
Ready Player?
you know what? At Warner Brothers, they had that in the lobby.
No way.
As if it was a thing to be proud of.
The leg, like so, for any of you that doesn't know, it's the Ready Player One poster. And it's the main character climbing up these stairs, but it's his giant leg edited to this massive, huge, like really giraffe neck leg, and it's massive. And I just thought of this while we were just looking at the posters.
I mean,
They had that in the lobby.
yeah.
God damn.
I mean, speaking as a man with just long legs in general, like those legs too long.
they're
those
too
legs are
long.
yeah.
long.
I know. I've lived this life of a long-legged man.
That's too long.
That man would not be able to. It would be a hard life for him. He would want to go into a simulation.
Because like one leg looks to be regularly sized, but then the other leg is so he's just walking around with like wonky legs. He's always slanted.
He's always got.
That's
like,
why he's
the
escaping
one...
to the Avatar. He's like, I can pick my leg sizes here. I've not been cursed. The next.
Call me Limpy Joe.
He sets his avatar name as Limpy Joe.
Limpy Joe.
And then they're just like, oh, we know who who he is. It's like walking around. So the next,
The next topic we got coming
is so perfect because it segues two things we're going to do. So Marvel announced 6 new untitled movies for 2021 and 2022. This is added to the 3 untitled ones they already have for 2020. But the reason why this is a perfect segue is because our other 2 topics are going to be Matt's dream film.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to talk about Black Panther, which was officially out in Aberystwyth. Which is amazing. We finally got the shit. We got the film. So...
Although you two snuck off and saw it early.
Oh, wow, I snuck off until... Yeah, I snuck off the week before Fraser, and then he went to... Yeah.
So yeah, so do you want to talk about the 9 movies?
The 9
Or
movies. Yeah, I
speculate?
post a link in the chat for any of you who wants to see the actual list of all the 9 movies. But by God,
It just says Untitled, Untitled 2,
Untitled,
Untitled 3,
Very
Untitled.
early,
Yeah.
God, there's so many. Like I did just look at this list now. I literally said, well, the song was playing, and I was like, I just can't even. Like I know roughly a few of them, like maybe Guardians 3, Captain Marvel 2.
Well, that's the thing.
Doctor Strange 2.
When
Black
you look
Panther
at it,
2.
most of them are just going to be sequels because it's good, like Captain Marvel's going to have the sequels, Black Panther's going to have the sequels, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Possibly
We were
another
ta-
Ant-Man.
I was gonna say no, Ant-Man and the Wasp will finish up a trilogy.
Yeah, and we were talking as well the other day, weren't we? Saying because we were speculating, does the Spider-Man: Homecoming fit under this,
I
or
don't
does
think
it
it
fit
does.
under Sony? I think it might.
No, I
It's
think
coming
it
out
will.
in 2019.
I think it.
It comes out in 2019, just
Yeah.
after Avengers.
Oh no, I mean like Spider-Man: Homecoming 3. Like, do the Homecoming films
the
fit
third
with?
Spider-Man.
Do they fit with the 3, or is that a Sony? But I think they do fit with
I'm
them.
going to say not, because they listed. I've seen this article and they listed the 2019 films as well, and Spider-Man wasn't.
Just
Oh,
because
Spider-Man sequel, yeah.
just
no, wait. Oh, okay, wasn't it? Okay,
yeah,
maybe
because
it
they're
is.
doing.
Maybe it is then.
So they're doing 3 films a year, and if they're not including like the Sony dealership one, then that means 1 year we're gonna have 4, and I'm like, that's amazing, but like little bit too
what
much.
should they be?
But yeah, most of them are like it's May, July, November. But
Yeah.
then interesting, there's one that's like February, May, July. I'm speculating that February one will be a sequel to Black Panther.
Sequel to Black Panther.
Oh
I
yeah,
think-
absolutely. I mean, that's going to cross the $1 billion mark.
Exactly,
this
like
week.
it's doing
Yeah.
well, and it's again that February like is Black History Month, so I think it's again that iconic thing, and we've lost the dates.
sorry, I've lost the dates. I was googling Black Panther gross.
But yeah, does anyone?
I think
speculate?
Guardians 3, obviously.
Yes.
Actually,
Captain Marvel-
we
Captain
know
Marvel
this.
2.
Yeah, we're thinking the sequels. Should we speculate
On
new
ones.
Well,
new
one,
ones?
one of these probably is the Black Widow movie they've got in development now.
Yeah, that should be
got
good.
that now, so-
I don't reckon that's happening.
I reckon,
I don't know,
depending
I
on the
think
success
they'll
of
push
Red
for it.
Sparrow, like if that Red Sparrow film does well, they're like, oh, we can do that, but better.
I know.
I don't know. I think regardless, I think they'll just be like, oh yeah, we'll do this, but better.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think Scarlett Johansson has proved she's a box office hit, even in films that aren't that great, like Lucy and the what was that anime?
Oh sure, she can.
Oh,
She can
Ghost in
sell
the
a
Shell.
movie.
Ghost in the Shell, yeah. Like she can lead. She can easily
Top's not yet.
lead a film.
Yeah.
But yeah, any new
I don't think.
characters you're thinking?
Personally, I don't think Black Panther will be in there. I think maybe.
You don't think Black Panther will be in there? I know you meant Black Widow.
But I
don't
do
worry,
mean
I've got
Black
your
Widow.
back.
Yeah, sugar. God damn. Yeah, no, I'm just a bunch of sequels, but.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, is it just going to be sequels, or is it? Or maybe we
It's
get
gotta
like
be something new.
we might get a new team.
Who's there that they've got left to explore? Like, I mean, they're obviously not doing the Inhuman. Or
Well-
maybe like the X-Men.
Well,
or
yeah,
the
you
Fantastic
can
Four.
you can
that's
rumour
what
like
bring
yeah,
up is-
Fantastic Four, Phase 4. That would be a nice.
Maybe some of these reserved, although because that deal is still not exactly
Yeah.
confirmed.
Because
so-
Kevin Feige said like even if the deal does go ahead, we're not going to see X-Men or Fantastic Four till 2020. So it sort of leads you to go,
Well,
you've announced these.
They're not allowed to use the word. No, they're not allowed to include Fantastic Four Mutants until what, 2020, 2019, something
something
like
like that.
Well, that's what he was saying. He was saying like
Yeah.
they were like you're not going to see them until then, but you might be able to start mentioning it sooner.
Yeah, like do you remember with Ant-Man? They had that thing at the end where it's like, we gotta go, climbs up wall, swings
Yeah.
some.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, there's
Like,
no boy.
We got a guy
Like
with claws. We got a guy who shoots lasers. We got
Like they could do stuff with like that. So the only reason they're saying 2020 to 2022 is when they're going to start mentioning it, start using them, is because they've got so much planned before. Then it's like we've got to do the stuff we've already planned before we get this new stuff in. So like they probably like I reckon as soon as they get it, they'll just be like mutant, or like they'll slyly drop like because in Spider-Man: Homecoming the building. Stark Towers, Avengers Tower is getting bought out and sold. But my theory is it's either going to Norman Osborn if they don't get the rights in time, or it's going to be the Baxter Building for the Fantastic Four. I reckon that'll be their big nod. Like, hey guys, we got Fantastic Four back.
Personally, I think it'll be the Osborn building, but I think that's a good.
I reckon like Oz, because it was introduced in Spider-Man: Homecoming, it would be cool, and it'd just be cool to see Osborn opposed to.
genuinely
who,
trying to
start.
rack my brain. I could probably do this in like my spare time, but like, I'm trying to rack my brain to think of anything that's like new, like a new property that they've got. But I don't actually.
Do you want to check the chat?
She-Hulk.
In
Oh,
case,
That's
in
why I've
case
written
there's
down,
anyone.
She-Hulk would be
No,
cool.
I've got She-Hulk. That would be cool. I think She-Hulk would be more like a street level Marvel Netflix thing, though.
I don't want to waste it on Netflix though.
No.
You want something with the budget and the fun.
Yeah.
Especially as well, like, because like she's gonna be green all the time. You like that sort of it leads you more to movies. I think like
Yeah.
If
'Cause
you've
it-
got any-
she's a cool little lawyer thing, and that would be cool. With I think there is an issue though. I think it's the same thing with Universal. Like it's distribute. You know, with the with Hulk, like the reason why they don't make Hulk films is because they like Universal distribute him, so they still get the money. That's why Hulk will appear in an Avengers or a Thor, but won't have his own film. I think it's the same for She-Hulk, and I think it's a similar thing for like Namor. But no one's screaming for a Namor movie.
No, name
Well,
is not.
Um,
Any suggestions for a Marvel Phase 4 film? Please help me out. Drop them in the chat.
It's really like just the people they haven't got, like Fantastic,
Yeah.
X-Men.
I mean, something that they might dabble into sooner or later is like sort of Elseworld stories.
that would be cool.
alternate universes.
Yeah. So they could go to the 2099 or
Yep.
Marvel
That would be
Zombies
cool.
if people
Yeah.
are too sick
Yeah.
of zombies.
God.
Like
Yeah, like
1602
like an
and
R-rated. Yeah, 1602.
Yeah.
Oh man, Logan,
That's-
please.
That's what I want to talk about. My dream film.
Oh,
okay.
nice little
Okay.
segue.
Ooh.
Okay.
But
But they could do whatever universe Spider-Ham is from.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Please, yeah, include that one.
I was saying like they could do their own version of like Marvel Ultimate, where it's like alternate
Yeah.
versions of the character. But then like the versions we have in the movies are basically just bits from
the
main
ultimate,
line
yeah,
and the
yeah.
Ultimates.
They're just a
put together.
mismatch of all the best bits of everything.
And like these are going to get confusing enough. I think if you were to do these Elseworld stories, they could only be like, well, not necessarily one-offs, but like you have to like recast everyone,
Yeah.
so you know it's different.
So you definitely know it's. Yeah, I think this is almost definitely we're gonna get more team up films.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
there's probably going to be less. Like, we're all struggling to find origin stories and stuff like that and new characters because, to be honest, there's not that many left, and they're probably not going to. They're so deep into the universe now that they're like, we've got so many characters you already enjoy. Now we're going to show them together in a different film. Like, I reckon the team up movies would be cool.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
could see Miss Marvel being introduced in a Captain Marvel sequel and just do that in the
Oh,
same
yeah,
Kamala Khan?
and then just
Yeah.
and then just segue her on. That would be cool.
Yeah. I think really the Elseworld stuff is really like, you know, like in the middle of like phase 2, we were still, when new Marvel properties were coming out, we were still like, could this be the one that Marvel screws up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, can they really pull
Yeah.
this off? But now it's gotten to a point where like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, those are going to be
Yeah, they can
like
do, like,
breakout
pretty
hits.
much
We know
anything,
that.
yeah.
They're going to be
There's
Captain
literally-
Marvel.
It's, like,
got nothing
so
to worry about.
safe.
I do remember like watching the reviews and things like that and being like, Guardians, oh, this could be their biggest
Yeah.
flop, and Ant-Man, this could be terrible, and then
Yeah.
we were like, no.
This is really the only thing that could like break out those conversations again. Is can they pull this stuff with a mainstream audience of just doing alternate stuff alongside the main
Yeah.
continuity, which that might be the like the breaking point.
Yeah, that might be where they go. No, the only
You have
issue
the main
is
stuff going along with all this alternate stuff.
there is
as well.
one issue as well. Like I remember there was a video ages ago saying basically not how the Ultimate Universe failed, but why the Ultimate Universe only lasted 15 years was because what they're doing in the films, they tied everything together and everything was a new fresh start. But they did so much so soon that there was like, we've got nothing left to do. So that's like the one worry you have. But like in Kevin Feige, we trust.
I know I mentioned it recently, but we were talking about like with Thanos. Like Thanos is one of the biggest threats you'll get with all the Infinity Stones. Thanos will be huge, and Thanos will threaten all life in the universe as we know it. And then after Infinity War, like where'd you go?
It's like, who do you have
what's
next?
a threat?
Honestly,
Yeah.
and again, it's that thing of if you don't have the
Yeah,
I reckon
not assuming
Galactus.
you have the benefits of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men.
Galactus or Doom, I reckon we could see some cool stuff like now that we've got Spider-Man's villains, there's so much they can do. Like they were talking about Kraven the Hunter with Black Panther, and you know Osborn can make his own like evil Avengers. We can have the Sinister Six face off against the Avengers, or just Spider-Man in general. But
that would be like a really unique thing to do. It's just like, okay, you've got a team of heroes and now you've got the team of villains.
yeah, exactly.
Although there is just sort of, it's just Spider-Man's rogues, and you kind of want
Yeah, you want to dive
ones
like
come
that. I feel like that's if they can't get the Fantastic Four, but it would be so cool if literally like the end credit, because the big end credit scene in the first Avengers was like Thanos turning around and smiling. But if you have like a shot in space, this is my suggested post credit scene, shot in space, and you see like this surfboard surfer go past, and it's Silver Surfer going to Galactus going, "I've got a report on Earth." And then it's you don't have a fart cloud. You have
Yeah,
Also-
an actual big purple man.
It's not just Spider-Man's rogues. Abomination is still going.
Oh yeah, Abomination. You know what? I am one of the few people who thinks that the Incredible Hulk is like really, really solid.
Oh, do you know
really
what? Thank
good.
God, because I've been getting a lot of hate recently because I reckon The Incredible Hulk's a good film, and I enjoy
It
The
is
Incredible
good.
Hulk.
It's not like top tier Marvel stuff, but I think it's a really solid. I think Edward Norton is really
Yeah.
good. It's a shame that Marvel kind of tries to sweep that movie under the rug
Yeah.
because of what happened. I mean,
The recast.
they acknowledge it in certain ways. Like I think Mark Ruffalo has a line in Avengers. So
yeah, he does where like I put a bullet
tried
in
to
my
put a
mouth
bullet
and
in
it
my
was
mouth,
yeah.
Oh yeah, he references the deleted opening, and you've had William Hurt in Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back Betty Ross. Bring
Yeah,
back his
no,
actual
they
love,
do
Betty
like.
Ross.
I feel like it suffers from the new Marvel movies. Like even just looking back at any of the Phase 1 movies, when you compare it to what they've done now, it's like like the Phase 1 movies were great because what they were setting up. Like, oh my goodness, this is a connected universe. But now, like the Marvel movies are almost great on their own as well as being part of the universe. Like, yeah, it's so weird just jumping straight back into it, and it's jumping straight back.
Do you guys want to talk about the other sort of dates that they've got listed out in this sort of generic
2022 or
plan?
the ones up here?
Well, I mean, just other Disney movies in general, because
Oh.
they've got stuff listed like
God.
live-action Disney projects and
Oh yeah, they've got a full
and
shebang.
Pixar
I've got it.
project. It's basically you've got a few for the next
Oh, we got
couple of
2013,
years.
2014, 2014.
Yeah, well, we've got
2019
that-
we go.
Like,
You've got like that
Lion
Christopher
King-
Robin.
You've got Lion King coming out next year.
Lion
You've
King,
got,
Rocket Peter Pan, Frozen 2, Untitled
Yeah.
Disney live action, Untitled Disney live action,
Yeah, yeah.
2020. God,
Like
yeah, this
Pixar
is.
as well.
Like I want to sort of see like how many of those untitled live action, just that generic description, how many of those are Star Wars? How many of those are Ryan Johnson's Star Wars movies? Just
That's a
And
good point.
oh no, I keep
The
getting
Game
this
of
confused.
Thrones
The Game of Thrones
directors,
directors. Yeah.
oh, I thought they were working together, Ryan
Right.
Johnson and the Game of Thrones writers.
No, two separate trilogies.
Oh, okay.
How mad's that? I know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm-
So should we do segue number one?
We can do segue number one.
Segue number one.
We're better at segues.
Matt, what is your dream film?
Okay, so
Dream film. Grant wishes time. Let's make a
in-
dream film.
In this particular instance, I would quite like to see a film based on Marvel 1602. Marvel 1602 is I think it was a short 4-issue run by Neil Gaiman, creating another Marvel universe where the Marvel heroes exist in Elizabethan times around 1602.
Yeah.
And so you get to see these fun kind of Shakespearean reinterpretations of like all the Marvel characters, which is quite fitting when you consider like William Shakespeare's stuff was like this big sort of really kind of soap opera-y kind of stuff. I mean, I know we look at like Shakespeare as high art today, but like back then, at the time, like Shakespeare's stuff was sort of looked down upon in a way because it was very melodramatic and just it was. I mean, the fact that they allowed like groundlings to go to it, which is what they call the peasants, just groundlings. It was looked down on as kind of mass culture thing, which kind of blockbuster movies are in a way today.
Exactly,
and the superhero stuff. So like the two equivalating each other is quite sort of fitting.
William Shakespeare, the original Michael Bay. I'm joking. That was horrible.
Why can't I mute you?
You know what, Fraser? I come in here.
You get to mute me. Why can't I mute you?
You say that to a theatre kid. But yeah, the actual the main book it's written by Neil Gaiman, so it's fantastic.
It is.
Crossing
Yeah, I've seen
incredible.
some of it. It's
Yeah.
like Nicholas Fury and
So
some of that.
Nicholas
And
Fury, Peter Parquard,
Peter Parker,
Yeah.
and they've all got the ruffles, and they've all got the. I have seen it. It does look pretty
They've
cool.
got their silly costumes.
I do remember actually going to like Smith sometimes and like being sat in Smith and reading that, and then just and then not buying it, and then leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I read it as like a library. We had a copy in the library at school. That was the
Oh,
first
nice.
time I read it.
What a school.
like the whole thing is really charming, and it did kickstart a few spin-off books. Like there was Spider-Man 1602.
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
Fantastic Four 1602. I think there was another one. It might have been the X-Men.
Yeah. Is there any? Can I ask what tone you'd go with it? Would you take comedy? Would you take
I mean, it has to be sort of fairly lightish. I mean, you can't take it that seriously.
No, true.
You know, it's the Marvel characters, are Shakespeare characters. I mean, like, you know, Shakespeare, like his comedy has always had an element of tragedy, and his tragedy has always had plenty of comedy. So
would you?
And it's the same with like
a nice
Marvel.
tonal
It's
balance.
the same with Marvel in general. Like there is comedy there, and there's also tragedy.
Yeah.
For
Anybody?
Ragnarok, you know, parents dying. And...
Anybody you particularly have to direct it, or just you?
I mean, Kenneth Branagh is sort of a go-to
yeah,
for like
true.
Shakespearean
That's
a good-
like
that's a good
film
choice, actually.
adaptations,
Yeah.
and like the first Thor has like quite a lot of Shakespearean sensibilities if you look at it. In terms of a cast, like I'm not sure. Like as I say with like the whole Elseworld stuff, I think you'd have to recast just everyone.
Would you get Shakespeare? You know, the like Shakespearean actors. Would you get like the?
Maybe just cast it all with thespians.
Yeah.
That'd be neat. I mean, the only like cast member I have like in mind for sure is Liam Neeson as Sir Nicholas Fury.
Oh, that
Because, like,
sounds absolutely amazing.
For like original like white Nick Fury, I imagine Liam Neeson as him just all the time.
That sounds
regardless of
absolutely perfect,
interpretation.
actually.
But then, I mean, I haven't actually read the book in but like too long. I need to reread it. 'cause
I
it's a-
actually need to go over it.
bloody
Yeah,
good
I
read.
might have a look actually.
They did in Secret Wars. There was a world that was 1602.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
that
I
was
do
pretty
remember- yeah.
cool. Yeah, so that was your
That'd be a dream
Same.
film. We've got more
Yeah.
wishes coming up soon.
got the dream. Yeah,
Granting more wishes.
yeah.
One more film topic though.
Yeah, guys. So we're going to talk about Black Panther, and I think
Yeah.
it's pretty. We'll do.
No spoilers.
I
come
reckon
on.
we'll do spoilers, but we'll do it. We'll talk a bit non-spoilers, and then we'll go into spoilers. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Get-
think people have been around here have been hungry enough where like
Yeah, like
if
you've
you want
waited that.
something.
Yeah, we've had to wait that long, and you know the sellouts.
I mean it's in the Commodore for like the last time tomorrow, so
Exactly. Yeah. So,
get on that.
but yeah,
That's true.
if you want, if you don't want spoilers at all, I'd say skip ahead. If you're listening live, Jacob's going to say in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, just go when the video changes and it's on TV. Yeah, so we'll give you a 3-second warning. 1, 2, 3. So Killmonger dies.
It was so
Yeah.
good.
The-
Wasn't Black Panther amazing?
Yeah.
Wasn't it such a good film and
It
such a
was
good,
really
wholesome,
good.
great film
Yeah.
that I haven't heard any complaints from at all.
I mean I have a few.
I've heard people. I've heard the one main complaint.
got a
that's,
note.
that's about it.
Yeah,
What are
I
those?
mean, the Marvel stuff Marvel Studios stuff in general, it tends to fall in like two different categories of good standalone piece of
Yeah.
film and installment in the ongoing Marvel saga. Which
Yeah.
is not to say there's any kind of differentiation in quality between those two categories. Like Civil War is another installment in the ongoing Marvel saga, and that's like my second favorite one out of all of them.
Yeah.
But Black Panther definitely falls under the category of just great standalone.
Great standalone film. When I was watching Black Panther, I stopped halfway through and I was just like, I don't actually feel like I'm watching another Marvel update. It feels like I'm just watching a great standalone film, and that's what is great about it.
It felt like a development of the Marvel universe. Like
Yeah.
I did like I was I enjoyed like seeing another side of the MCU because like the technology based stuff, and it's so cool to see now that they can still do sort of like origin stories, but it doesn't take away from anything beforehand because Wakanda's been so secret for so long. It makes sense that no one would know about this place, which is the sort of pitfall you have with mutants. Is like people say with introducing mutants, it's like people would have known, or like so it was the same with Doctor Strange. Like Doctor Strange, it's like the Sorcerer's kept it so secret for so long, but now it's coming into it, and there's like a reason why we're going to Wakanda.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason we're in Wakanda now. It's because Wakanda's presence is going to be felt in this universe through that.
The main question I had, I know this will spark a lot of debate, and I know we can go on for a good hour about this because we have. But
Yeah.
as soon as the film's finished, and the post-credit scenes rolled, I raised my arms and it's not 9 yet, but I went, where is the Soul Stone? Where's the goddamn Soul Stone?
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with them saving one stone just
Yeah,
to establish in.
I am as well. To be fair, I am as well. But I was,
No,
we
you're not.
can-
That's a lie.
I am, but I'm also like,
You weren't
come
when
on,
you
give it
first.
to us. Give it to
I
us
remember
now.
I was like, when I was like, oh, I've seen it, and I was like, yeah, I had one question. Where's the Soul Stone? And I was like, oh yeah, I kind of figured.
I think we can all have a relatively good guess that it's something to do with Wakanda.
Well, yeah.
Especially with the
Meteorites.
the opening prologue of like Wakanda was built on a meteorite. That
Yeah,
came from space,
like it's
so-
gonna
And then
be.
and then
with the
Claw saying
vibranium.
they haven't even touched the surface yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
just-
I reckon it's gonna be like digged up in there.
But then again, that could be a red herring.
yeah.
True
Oh,
as well.
Damn it.
Also, as well, I think it was pretty cool with the whole like they were talking to the ancestors. I reckon that would be a cool little like that's because of the Soul Stone.
Yeah, that does.
But then again, they could just go, oh no, that's because of vibranium, or that's just because of where we are. Like
Well,
we've
that's
tapped
just
into something.
The culture, but no, the Soul
Yeah.
Stone would make more.
That
sense,
would
yeah.
kind of be like a cool little like they thought they could do it all this time, and it also creates a heartbreaking moment when Thanos takes it because then T'Challa is taken away from his ancestors, and that's Wakanda is really threatened then.
What did we
But
think?
yeah, we also saw like because there was another Soul's Stone theory just while we're on
Oh,
the
yeah.
topic.
Oh, is this the one I
Because
mentioned last
yeah,
time?
with the posters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I enjoyed this.
They released 6 posters, each one focusing on a particular Infinity Stone. And in the Infinity Stone, a character is reflected who is tied to that stone, just by it being in their movie or being associated with them. So the Mind Stone, you see Vision reflected in it. The Tesseract, you see.
Is it
Captain
these by any
America,
chance?
'cause was
Is it?
in-
Yeah.
Is it? No.
No, it's a different one.
I tell you what, I'll
there's
go
more
have a look. I'll
reflections.
go.
Look up Iron Man's Soul Stone theory.
Cool.
Because the main thing is you have the Soul Stone in it, and in the reflection is Iron Man, and like in all the other posters, the Infinity Stone are directly connected to
that character.
to a
To that
certain
character. Yeah.
character in a way that it's like, yes, that is definitely
they're the ones
tied
who had
to
it.
them.
Yeah.
This.
That's the one.
That's the one. Sweet.
I mean, the one that no one can see because it's an audio
Yeah.
medium.
I will post it in the
That's
chat.
the one.
Everyone
Kind
at
of,
home,
maybe.
just Google it and you'll see pretty soon. Yeah, so that's another thing. But then again, maybe it's just to get Iron Man on.
Yeah.
Well, like I
probably.
was thinking that, but you've already got enough star power on there with like Evans and Benedict Cumberbatch
I
and
suppose so, but
and also as well like you've got Vision on there, and I'll be honest, Vision's not the one who's like selling the big things.
As well, if you look, I'm looking closer, and I can see sort of Spider-Man in the power one, and I can see like Iron Man in the. I can see Iron Man in a few like.
Oh
he's in
yeah,
the
sure.
time
There's a
one.
few others reflect around the surface, but there's like a main reflection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
doesn't
main
he?
person in shot. Like we speculated yesterday because we had a little head thing because it was literally it was a social, and we all our nerds love to go on about nerdy subjects, even when we're not on air. But my thing would be like maybe Iron Man comes to Wakanda and he messes around with vibranium, and then that's where the Soul Stone's discovered.
Yeah,
That would be, and that would be a total Tony Stark thing as well, being like, "Oh, what's this cool technology?" And it's like, "Oh, what are you doing? No, don't mess with that."
I would say no. It was either Heimdall or Wakanda. I personally think Heimdall. Still,
If it's
but-
Heimdall though,
Can they
Thor's
afford to
been
get-
terrible at like,
Yeah.
I need to find all these Soul Stones. You've literally had every
All of
single
them.
one.
Can they afford to have Idris Elba in a supporting role anymore?
Well, I was talking about this a while ago. I remember when Idris Elba messed up for a bit, and he got in some arguments.
Well,
and-
he wanted a raise, didn't he? And he also wanted to play a different character.
Yeah.
He was like, because there is Idris Elba's an incredible actor, and there are so many other good characters he could have played, and
Yeah.
maybe better characters, you might
And
say.
I mean, it's that frustrating thing of an incredibly talented black actor for some reason being stuck in supporting roles.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, like, but yeah, like, either way works, but, like, it is sort of like, oh, Thor, you've had all of them. And if it is on Earth, it makes sense why Thanos is coming to Earth and why Earth is so important.
Yeah.
And it's also, because it's on Earth, but it's also been in space and come down from Earth. Should we talk more about Black Panther
Oh, yeah.
then?
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say Killmonger. He was a really good villain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I want to say, like, pretty much the vast majority of the characters were really well fleshed out in this. Like, it's a really good
well
ensemble
developed.
piece. Like, with the exception, unfortunately, of Daniel Kaluuya's character Wakabi, who's
Oh,
who's
yeah,
Black
yeah, yeah.
Panther's sort of right hand man, best friend.
And then
He's
turns,
not
yeah.
really developed all that much, which is kind of a shame. But like, I'm sure Daniel Kaluuya will be fine.
They
like, you know,
reckon
he's
he might be the villain for Black Panther too.
possibly, but
I don't know.
guess
I
we'll
think
see.
I think there was a small resolution at the end.
Yeah.
I think a cool villain for the second one would be like someone again trying to invade Wakanda. Like you could do Kraven. He's like, oh, I'm on the hunt.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't want to do Kraven's Last Hunt with Spidey, or if you
Yeah.
want to do both.
Um,
I thought, yeah, no, that was a bit of a because the beginning made it seem so cool. It's like, you know, he's standing with him, and then that turn where he's like he sides with Killmonger. I expected more from that, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, like it's the thing of like having so many characters, and like some do fall under the wayside. But I thought Killmonger was a great villain because he had the right idea, wrong execution. Like the best villains think they're right.
I was saying a while ago how like I know during maybe Ultron and maybe Thor 2 and maybe Iron Man 3, the villains weren't particularly praised, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Marvel has a villain problem. They're there to further the hero and they build up the heroes." And then Marvel have directly addressed this.
Phase 3 is like
maybe two of their
knocked it
best
all out of the
villains,
park.
Vulture and
Yeah.
Killmonger,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody can.
well, really, since Civil War, like we've
Yeah.
had Zemo. Zemo was pretty
I
great.
feel like Phase 3 is just knocked out the park.
I mean, Dormammu was. I think Dormammu's sort of more notable for how he gets taken out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's still pretty good.
That in Carcilius, he was pretty cool. Like I thought he was like the way he used magic and the way he like was like, oh no, the ancient ones,
Yeah.
like she's bad. And then it kind of made a cool little switch for Mordu. So I was like, oh, that's a nice little.
And Ego the Living Planet was really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Really,
Oh,
really good person.
really made you hate
And
him.
Hela in Thor Ragnarok, like not particularly developed, but like Kate Blanchett having an absolute blast.
It
Oh,
worked.
having so much fun,
It
yeah.
worked for that film.
But I
what
mean,
they were going for.
pretty much every other character in Black Panther was really well done. Shuri was one of my
Oh shit!
particular
I
shit.
absolutely love Shuri.
When I got the chance to talk about it, I was saying my favorite two from the film were Shuri and Ulysses Claw. I love Shuri and Ulysses Claw. I loved so much.
I love him too.
really wish they didn't kill him off.
Yeah.
Spoiler,
he
Oh,
is.
he's fun.
I said this to Grant like basically after we saw the movie, but Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw is basically Frank Gorshin as the Riddler for a new generation.
Yeah,
He's
it really
so
is.
great, even to the point where he's got a really cool, iconic laugh.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Look at that! I made it rain.
I made it great. Ah! The bit, oh god, he was laughing at one point, and I turned to my friend in the cinema and just said, "Andy, your Gollum showing." I loved Ulysses Claw. I really wish they didn't kill him. I wish he could come back, or
It made sense in the plot, but it was also like, oh, come on, I
damn
want
it,
to see more.
Yeah.
And it probably just means that they're opening Andy Serkis up for more CGI roles. It's like, we've got a load of space stuff we want for you.
It's been nice to see him like more in live action roles.
Yeah,
Because you forget he's usually just like Hollywood's mocap man.
Yeah.
He's
Mocap.
just
Oh,
a
maybe
tal-
that's his new...
Mocap
But
man.
he is just like a really talented actor.
He is.
Yeah.
They could, because Claw in the comics is just a voice. So if they wanted to, they could just...
We'll
Just
make him.
steal his
No,
voice.
we're making it canon now. Mocap man, MCU,
Mocap
faithful
man.
villain. We're making it happen
It's
here.
real
We
life.
grant wishes. You said it, so it's gotta happen.
Mocap man.
How good was M'Baku as well?
M'Baku was
Oh, I
hilarious.
loved M'Baku.
M'Baku was like someone who I really just like expected to just like he'd be there in name only, and you get an actor to play
Yeah, I
him,
thought
and
it'd be
he's
like
just
his
there for a
side
couple of
part.
minutes. I
Yeah.
thought it'd be like the Warriors 3 in
Yeah.
4, where he's just like, yeah, they're there, but whatever.
He's there for the first challenge, and then I thought that was it. Like I thought that was gonna be that was it. And then he popped up, and he was really he had
but
funny dialogue, and he was really like
a really good character.
I know I did like M'Baku. The line that keeps coming through is, "I will feed you to my children." Just
Yeah.
kidding, over vegetarian.
Or when
I like that he laughs at his own joke as well.
or when T'Challa says, "You know, I could use an army," and
Yeah.
he's just like, "I bet you
You
could,"
could.
but no.
Yeah, that was it was like, no.
No, yeah, he is hilarious, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things about Black Panther is just it has a really great character arc for T'Challa, because I don't know if you guys have seen this article being spread around by Breitbart, but it's basically the title of in Black Panther, the hero is Donald Trump and the villain is Black Lives Matter.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's
What?
a spectacularly bad take.
God, that's terrible.
And they use the rationale of because at the beginning of the movie, Wakanda is very much an isolationist state, and T'Challa is fulfilling that because that's just how things have gone before. And you can kind of understand why Wakanda has these kind of post-colonial anxieties because granted, the Western civilization is not as savage as it used to be, but generally history shows that when African nations share their stuff with the West,
it doesn't go well.
Yeah, so that anxiety is, perfectly rationally there. But he does go through a proper character arc of seeing the flaws of just these old ways and these traditions that have been upheld, and taking more active steps in order to. The whole isolationist thing is essentially what leads to creating Killmonger and creating this problem, and now he is going to actively take steps to changing things in Wakanda and changing them for the better.
To sort of flip on that and also prove why that article was wrong, he even mentions, there's a line of dialogue where he goes, it's something like, the cowards build walls.
Yes.
In times of troubles, the wise build bridges, the foolish build barriers.
It's
and
like
that's
it's like the person who wrote the article didn't watch the movie.
Exactly, yeah.
Or at least watch the first half or something like that. Missed the point.
Just saw the Killmonger parts and was like, oh yeah. Or just wanted to, get that little juicy bit of clickbait. There's also an interesting recent run on the Black Panther comics where he's basically compared to Obama and how his 8 years in America, and it's by a guy who studied Obama and then he went to write the Black Panther comic. So that's a cool little interesting take, and it's going to be interesting to see T'Challa as the leader of Wakanda and how that is implemented into the films. I think because with these meetings with the all Avengers together now, in future films like these, 9 movies coming up, we can see how he could how his role is represented a bit better.
Yeah, I think the action throughout the film was mostly, I want to say mostly mediocre.
It's fisticuffs mainly.
Some of it,
swords or...
I was impressed by what's the arm called?
What's this?
I like the car chase.
Yeah,
car chase was rad. Car chase was cool.
The stuff in South Korea.
Yeah.
But basically everything else. I mean, the opening action scene it's set at night, and he's wearing a completely black suit, and the camera work does not do anything to really help you make heads or tails of it, really. And
the main
is it the Dora Lami?
Dora
And
Malahi.
they're pretty they were pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, they were pretty sweet.
They were pretty cool.
And when they were when they all faced off against against Killmonger, I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
When they all worked in unison, I was like, that is some ninja ass.
The actual
sweet stuff.
battle in the field stuff of the final action sequence. Some of that was quite decent,
Yeah.
but there's bad CGI running through, and the actual fight between Black Panther and Killmonger is,
it's quick.
Really
it's
bad.
Quick.
It is, but it's really, really bad. The physics at play are just
that's
quite
the one. That is an over reliance almost on CGI, and it's not even it's some people's complaints as well with Spider-Man. When he's swinging, it's all it looks like a rag doll. Now, I let it slide with Spider-Man because I was oh, that's the sort of character he's slingy, lanky, and
but with Spider-Man, it's just sort of they cracked that in the first few movies. And that's one of my bugbears with Homecoming is that he's CGI too much when it could be easily a person across. I appreciate it actually. Black Panther does use a man in a suit quite fair level. I remember the opening sequence where T'Chaka comes in with a proper costume, and I'm just oh wow, that's a man in a proper costume.
Cool.
I'm used to seeing CGI bits all over.
Do you want to know a cool little thing as well? The guy who played T'Chaka is the son of the guy who played the old version. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
That's how they got
the main problem I had, not I had, but I heard a lot of people talk about was why the I can swear, why the fuck did she make 2 suits? Like the main problem would be like if she'd be solved if you clearly just made one suit. And I was like, well, I suppose you've got to have a backup, and you got to put one in the wash.
Just make it. I think like to be honest, like that's a small nitpick. Like, and also like she clearly made it like. She made an emphasis as like the gold is like style
yeah, different.
and the thingy.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say.
you know what? She probably made more than two.
I was gonna say she probably made loads.
She probably made like she clearly loves the job.
She probably didn't make the one that Killmonger had because it was noticeably different.
I was gonna say it didn't even look like a panther.
Yeah,
It's jaguar.
Oh
so.
no, it was the gold one. To be fair to people's complaints, there was two. There was like the one he picked clearly had like the purple bits, and the one next to it had a gold little net thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like to be fair to people's complaints, like he did steal that one. But yeah, oh no, sure, it was hilarious.
Shall we wrap up?
Yeah.
Wrap up film. We can go to.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
movie.
Good movie. Good times.
Good
Yeah.
preview.
We're all safe now. Okay, guys, welcome to the TV section of Geek of the Week
TV
with
section.
our guest of the week, Matt Jasper.
Oh, what up?
Geek of the Week, Wednesdays, 8 till 10. You're listening. The usual spiel. Blah, blah, blah.
You know this stuff. Yeah, so we're on TV now. Luke Cage.
That got a little...
Season 2 got a trailer.
Yes.
Jessica Jones is out this weekend. That proper blew my mind. I was
no,
like, wait,
yeah.
what?
I always lose track of when the Netflix stuff comes
Same.
because I just don't really have much hype for it.
And they don't really have like a set order to like. I feel like Marvel now. It's like they seem to have a set order. Like it's November or it's November or February. It's May for Americans, April for us, and then it's like June, July. So that's fine. But like I remember I've seen the Jessica Jones trailer and being like, oh, that's cool. Whenever that comes out, it'll be good. And then it was like, wait, what now? And then this is Luke Cage is out in the summer. What did you guys think of it?
Well, you never hear anything for like who's directing it or like who's the villain.
Oh,
or,
there's
like,
a lot
who's
of directors on it.
Oh, I know. I know there's like a bunch of people. You never hear like who the main villain is or whatever. Like, and obviously they just do them quietly and then release them. And then this came out, and I was like, oh wait, this is now June. This is June 22nd. And
Yeah.
I mean, it looked good. It looked like what I expect from Luke Cage. Him
Sure.
punching a bunch of people and stuff exploding.
Misty Knight's got a banner.
Is Misty Knight in this trailer? Or just on my
Dynamic.
look?
Yeah, she's got the thingy arm.
I'm very surprised they've actually gone full on bionic arm.
That's how you say the
way
word.
I would have said that was way too wacky for the Netflix stuff.
Nah,
way too fun.
It's gone for it.
Oh, they can't have something fun.
Well,
It's brutal.
That's the thing about the Netflix shows. It's like when they started out, they were not fun, but they were a novelty. They were just like, oh, this is the Marvel universe, but dark. And gritty. But now it's just kind of like, yeah, we've had like 7 or 8 seasons worth of just the same. Even between different shows, it's just sort of
It's
the
still
same thing,
very
like,
familiar. Yeah, very
someone, like,
familiar.
miserably slugging people in an
Which is why I was
alleyway.
gutted with
Although
Iron.
Punisher was pretty good.
I was kind of gutted
Punisher
why
was
Iron
cool.
Fist was so moody and gloom, and like took himself
Fist
so
was-
serious.
Iron
I was
Fist
like,
should be the schlock one.
I was like, you can
Yeah.
have so much fun with this, and it'd be even funnier when him and Luke like team up together. Like I
Yeah.
did like the interactions between them two in Defenders.
Yeah.
But I was like, if Iron Fist was a bit like, he's the comedic one in it, or that would have been so much good. Because like sometimes you do need a bit of comedic relief, but yeah. Iron Fist shouldn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah, you ever seen Drunken Master? That's what Iron Fist should
Yeah.
Essentially, no,
And they
essentially-
use the drunken master, but
They wasn't each of the episode titles like the title of
It was
a kung fu movie.
I know for Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, it was Wu-Tang Clan, yeah. I wonder if
Yeah.
they'll do that again for
It's
the
just like
second
they do fun
season.
things like that. It's just like, why don't you make your actual things fun? To be
Yeah.
fair, I think the problem with it is the like they should be shorter than 13 episodes because
That's always. I think Defenders, like, say what you want about it, but that 8 episodes was like, that's a good amount.
I still think it could have been even shorter.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think that's the only problem with the Defenders was they kept bumping into the police and obviously giving themselves like, oh great, we have to avoid the law. Like you
Yeah.
don't. Oh.
Like Luke Cage was great for the first 6 episodes, but then when
Yeah.
Cottonmouth goes to jail, that feels
Yeah.
like a
That feels
final
like
episode.
yeah,
as well.
that feels
When
like
Cottonmouth
that
dies,
felt
that was
that
it.
felt like it
Yeah.
was 2 different seasons, and that feels like on the third
and
season.
it felt like the underwhelming second season.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. To be honest,
My friend was watching. Said, "Oh, how much of Luke Cage can I watch?" And I was like, "Literally, just watch up until like a big part in the middle, which is when Cottonmouth dies, and then
Yeah.
that's it. That's all you need."
First 6 episodes, you're grand.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know who the villain's. It's going to be that Shades dude for season. 2
Oh,
of the
Shades
season.
is pretty good. Actually.
Shades is decent,
I'm
yeah.
happy to see more of him.
I
I don't know
liked
if they'll
his-
get Alfred Woodward back to be. What's
Is
his
it
name?
Diamondback? No.
No,
he's
no,
dead.
no. The woman.
The woman,
Oh.
you know, the woman who played.
Oh, the
Two
Chancellor.
Parts?
She's the politician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she played a character in Civil War.
Civil
as
War,
well,
yeah,
which I think it's probably best if you imagine that they're the same character.
That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah,
It
that's my headcanon.
Yeah.
It works as well. Like it works because obviously she's
Ah,
British
it's
and obviously has.
Maria.
Maria?
Mariah.
Yes.
Like Mariah Carey,
Yes.
but
And
not
she-
Mariah
to be
Carey.
fair, she was like quite decent. But
She was a good but then again, she was a good villain. But then again, it's that thing of she was so much better in the earlier episodes, and then the more and more you sort
well,
of
it's just like
went in on, it was
I
like
imagine it's gonna be shades, and I imagine like Luke Cage will have been put in the spotlight now after the Defenders, and I imagine like people are gonna recognize in him, and Harlem will be lifted up and things like that. And obviously, this is after Infinity War.
I'm wondering as well if we're gonna get
Oh.
some juicy bits of Heroes for Hire.
oh,
like
I
him
hope.
and-
I wish.
Him and Iron
Yeah.
Fist maybe
I really
interacting
can
more.
hope. I
I
really
hope
want-
Misty Knight and Misty Knight and Colleen Wigg sort of like, you know, they like interact a bit. My thing was like, right, scrap Luke Cage season 2, scrap Iron Fist season 2.
Yeah.
You're still gonna make you're making two series, but one's gonna be Daughters of the Dragon and Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
I would much rather like in the films you're doing team ups.
I think that was the general consensus. I think that was like what
That
everybody
would've
wanted.
No one's
That would've been
asking
cool.
for an Iron Fist season 2.
No.
No one.
It's happening though, probably. Like it's.
Yeah, I think genuinely, yeah, I think it is actually. But yeah, that's that.
My name is Danny Rand, immortal protector of Cudland.
Blah 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 blah
So-
blah 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 blah.
That wraps up Luke Cage.
Yeah. Okay, so this is
Yeah,
very.
it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, it'll probably be alright.
If you want to talk about opening a can of worms, Rebels apparently is
Oh,
introduced time travel to Star Wars.
Yes.
So in the recent episode, I'll explain it while these two compose themselves. I feel like Jacob's going to take more time than Matt. Matt's a pretty composed
I
guy.
just kind of find the whole thing funny.
So in a recent episode of Rebels, Ezra, the golden boy, enters a space beyond space, where essentially he sees different times and he sees different moments in time of the Star Wars universe, but only sees the boring parts, you know, the stuff in Rebels. And he also hears voices from like young Obi-Wan, old Obi-Wan, Rey, so like Jedi from the past, present, and future. And pulls Ahsoka. Oh, spoilers for Rebels for like the last, all of it. Pulls Ahsoka away from her battle with Darth Vader because people are like, oh, did Ahsoka survive? And there was that big movement where like Ahsoka alive or whatever. But yeah, he pulls Ahsoka out, and I'm just like, Star Wars doesn't need time travel. Don't complicate it. Star Wars is too old to like start introducing stuff like this. It's no, like this is one of the things that bugs me about Rebels and Clone Wars is the stuff they introduce just doesn't fit into Star Wars. Like Clone Wars, they gave every single villain like a lightsaber. It was like, no, the reason why the Sith was so special was because they were in hiding and they were the ones who had the lightsabers. That's why they were the presence, not the bloody Inquisitors or whatever. Oh my goodness. And also, with every last more of these Jedis that survive, you're just making Vader look like he did an absolute terrible job.
Yeah.
The literal last fucking thing Rebels needs is time travel. The last thing Star Wars needs is time
Star Wars
travel.
doesn't need time, like, because then you get into like Star Trek stuff, and it's like, it's
I mean, I
not the
don't
brand.
really see how you could really open up that many story potential ideas.
There's
for
nothing.
Star
Yeah, there's
Wars.
no like, because you already have like Force ghosts. So like, if you want someone to talk, like if you want to create interactions, fine, maybe. But
I saw something I was talking to Fraser about earlier, and it was how J.J. Abrams directing Episode 9 might use this time travel to redo retcon the events of Last Jedi for Episode 9.
Yeah, sure.
And we would
that
just
would be utterly
it
ridiculous.
would be ridiculous, and I just think I just hate, like, as soon as Fraser told me that there was time travel in it,
Yeah.
oh, I hate this so much. I can't even get angry about it because I just hate it.
I wouldn't expect anything to come of it, really.
No,
I mean,
like-
I saw some of the articles that you were scrolling through, Justin. It says like this is mainly just like a one-time thing, and really, like, I think it was just done for fan service.
And the
so
way
you can hear clips from the other movies.
Yeah, the way they sort of done it as well, and it's to get people talking about Rebels like we're doing.
Yeah, it worked.
The way their
Bastards.
plans worked. They knew what they were doing. The way they sort of did it as well was like it's not like there's a DeLorean or there's a certain kyber crystal that makes him go back in time.
No.
It's literally like Ezra enters this thing and he only sees certain bits. So it's like you can explain it away. One thing this would open up, and like if it would make some Star Wars fanboys and mainly kids, so the people who watch Rebels, like Star Wars fanboys and kids, not just kids, like both enjoy. Don't want to get hate. Is like, oh my goodness, we could see Darth Vader versus Darth Maul, or we could see this versus this, and it's like, why are these shows fan fiction?
You can see that in the Force Unleashed little mini game.
Yeah,
the
like,
little arena mini game.
These are all just fan fiction that, honestly, like, everyone's like, oh, Episode 8 should be put in Legends. No, Clone Wars and Rebels should be put in Legends. And then, you know what? I might actually appreciate them. Like, I appreciate what they've done and, like, how they reintroduce characters from Legends back into the new canon. And, like, some of the stuff they've done is really cool, but some of the stuff is just like, no, you're taking away from the movies now. Like,
this makes me want the not cast but like crew of Rebels. I wanted them to die. This makes me want them to die more.
Oh, jeez.
Like, not production casting, like the ghost team.
yeah,
like
Kanan.
the characters.
Kanan's dead.
Oh, right.
No,
sorry.
that
I
was-
thought you were like,
I-
oh, jeez.
I know,
angry.
geez, Jacob. Wow.
I'm angry. I'm not that angry.
I want Filoni's head.
Bring me Filoni's head for time travel. No,
That's
like
right.
I knew they were all dying. Spoilers: Kanan's gone.
Kanan's,
but, like,
yeah,
the
there's
rest-
like a question mark on Ezra. It's like, ugh.
Oh, I just don't. This came out and it just. I typed in Rebels time travel and it literally came up with fan fiction. Like I didn't.
It literally is.
I don't even know where to
It is
begin.
fan fiction. Yeah, it's not fun times.
It's not. I'm sad.
Well, ultimately, I don't think it'll really matter much to the Star Wars.
Nah.
I mean, like, nothing the cartoons would
They
would really
Should end.
Exactly,
This is it.
no.
No, this is the end for Rebels. Like this is.
Yeah.
Get them all to die.
I mean, I've not seen too much of Rebel. I've seen like the first season and bits of season 2, but like I like it for the most part. Well, at least what I saw, and I've kept up with like the major events. Like I saw Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan versus
yeah,
Maul.
same, which was cool. We
that
talked about
was-
that on air, and we were so happy to talk
That
about
was
that.
cool.
But
Yeah.
it.
No, I think there'll be a time when I go through the whole of, like, cause I've seen bits and pieces of Clone Wars, and I did try and like start that. And there'll be a time where I go through like Clone Wars and Rebels, probably when I'm feeling like, oh no, the Star Wars having a bit of a dry spell now. I want to kind of get it. Probably like if they went, oh, we're taking a break after episode 9, I'd be like, no, I got so used to it. Oh, fine, I guess I'll watch these just to keep me going. But yeah, it's a bit. Oh, I don't know, man.
So we go on to another topic instead of depressing.
Yeah,
ourselves. So what have we got?
man. We've got Matt's dream TV show.
Oh, yes, of course.
Sure.
This is going to be the last part of TV because
Ooh.
we're going to save our usual segment of Zombie Wang or Zombie Clang for next week.
Oh, I know the answer. I know the answer.
We caught up on update. We caught up on CW.
Woohoo.
We're all caught up on Black Lightning, Legends, and Flash. But we'll talk about all that next week.
Well, not this week because we haven't seen them.
We'll have a super
binge.
talk and discussion about it.
Black Lightning's on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah.
They're doing a really cool thing. So they did it with Riverdale. They'll show it in the States, and then they'll show it. It'll come on to Netflix the next day.
Yeah.
And I really hope they do that with Titans because that would be a way more legal way of
I
doing
think
it.
they do that with Star Trek as well.
Yeah, they do actually.
And,
Yeah.
Maybe I think that was sort of how it works for Rick and. Although I think Rick and Morty was like.
Rick and Morty. Yeah, they did the same thing because they know they've got like an international audience, and like Netflix are willing to work with anyone. But
So,
yeah, so your dream
What is your
TV
dream
show?
Well, aside from a revived Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh my goodness, yes, a season 3.
Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah. Oh, season 3 till 10.
10. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just don't feel free to just keep going. You never have to stop.
Literally, like if no one has ever seen Spectacular Spider-Man, it is the definitive, in my opinion, the definitive version of Spider-Man. Better than the Raimi movies, even, which I love. better than anything in the comics.
Any version of any version of,
Any
because
other
there's so many
cartoon.
cartoon versions. Like the 90s, great, but this is sort of like one of those that you can enjoy it
This
like
is like a proper, like, well-written
with
show.
that, yeah. Like they've merged all the different stuff in Spider-Man's history and lore, and like sort of created their own little twist on it. And Matt, like, this is a little nice little story. Matt got me this for Christmas this past year.
First season on
And
DVD.
oh my goodness, like, because obviously, like, I remember watching that Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Man in 2003. You know, the weird one with Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
I watched them three just like on a weird little cycle. Like, I just go through like random episodes, but actually watching it all in a continuous thing and not being distracted by Drake Bell or Neil Patrick Harris, because they were the two big appeals for me for them shows. Because like, oh, I like both those actors. And then Spectacular, I was like, oh, this is a weird and like interesting looking one. And the only reason I stuck with that one was like, the story's actually better in this, but I like the other two actors in the other, and like the style as well was cool. Sorry, Matt, I've just interrupted you in the middle of your dreams.
it's
How
good
rude.
discussion. Really, I think like a dream series for me would be an Eighth Doctor spin-off series from Doctor Who. That would be. I mean, I feel that's not an uncommon desire among Doctor Who fans, but yeah, I think that would be quite neat if it. Like, the only concern really is that it would create confusion with the main show. Is if you have two, like, it's one thing to have like Doctor Who spin-offs like Torchwood or Sarah Jane, but it's another thing to have like another show with another Doctor running concurrently with the main one.
Yeah.
Although maybe if you put it on Netflix, you put it behind a paywall or something, then maybe
Find a way, or
problems
like call it
starts to
the
rectify
Eighth
itself.
Doctor.
Would you
or, like,
explicitly make it different.
Would you have Paul McGann or John Hurt, or would you?
No,
recast
absolutely,
or-
yeah. Paul McGann.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds fantastic. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Mm.
That would be great.
And like his Big Finish stuff is like always some of like been the most like interesting little facets of the Doctor Who canon of the Doctor.
How many episodes would you have? Would you said you'd stick on Netflix? Would you?
I mean, I doubt they'd have much money to pour into it, so maybe something like 8 or 10 episodes.
Nice.
Like the main show now is going to have 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want much more than that.
That sounds
Pretty cool. Have you ever seen? This is going to be a brilliant segue later on because we're going to talk about comics. But have you ever seen like I know for some, I don't know if they've done it for every Doctor, but they've released like comics like series continuing them on.
Yeah.
Just wondering if like that if that's been part of your Doctor Who fandom, like if you've read any of them or.
Partially, I've read a few. I mean, I used to read like the weekly comic when I was like a kid.
Yeah, oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
I think I had the magazine. I think I had the Doctor Who magazine.
I was going to say
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the closest thing to comics
I
that
used
came
to
to
have the
me.
weekly
corner
Doctor Who
shop.
thing for kids, and then graduated to the magazine.
Yeah.
But
There's
now I just read
a growing development.
Now I just read news stories on BuzzFeed, like
Oh god damn it!
It's
You're
all
so
changed.
To be
right.
fair, I think I bought like the 500th issue of Doctor Who magazine just because it was new.
Nice.
Yeah.
They've destroyed the magazine business. BuzzFeed.
Aw, that's a good little TV one. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That's
Would you have would you have them with companion or?
Yeah, I suppose so. But I probably an original one, not like any from the audio
Yeah.
dramas or
Sweet.
anything like that.
Welcome to the comic section.
We've got no comic section.
Well, Matt, it's been nice having you along. I'll sort you out that package later on. But
Yeah, sure.
no,
We just wanted to talk about films, right?
no, the comic section is going to be a bit shorter this week because we
Haven't
well,
read
because
anything.
we've had a guest. Hey, I've read stuff. Don't you dare.
I read so.
I read.
Kinda.
Sorry, that was very outrageous. That wasn't
No.
me. I was like,
You're not the
hey,
angry
how
one.
dare you accuse me of not reading stuff? I've read stuff. There's been strikes on. I've had to do something. Yeah, so we've got we accidentally set up ourselves a little Marvel March Madness last
Oh
week.
yeah, we did.
So we're going to talk about that later. But before, I just mentioned like two things I read. Next week, by the way, you're going to get a lot of Spider-Man from me because today, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, a lot of Spider-Man was released, and so was Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man issue 300 was last week, but because it's all Spider-Man, I'm gonna wait till next week, and it's just gonna be a Spider-Man like surge of it all.
Just
Might even talk about the annual as well, or if I'll probably talk about it last week.
Just
But yeah, the two I want to talk about have a cool connection. So it's Countdown to Infinity, and it's Action Comics 998. Yeah, go on. What
I
you
was going
saying?
to say, just before you go into it, you're going to get a surge from me as well. It will be a specific writer. It'll be Kelly Thompson, because the Hawkeye series is ending, and I've got Rogue and Gambit on the go, and she writes both of those.
Yeah,
and they're both really great titles.
You
So
you can talk all about Hawkeye and how the series went, and
I
it's
can.
gonna be fun
I
times.
can. It's going to be some good stuff. Anyway,
But
sorry.
yeah, so Countdown to Infinity and Action Comics both had little nods to their universes. So in Countdown to Infinity, they reference the DC universe in a little not like because the Marvel sort of now are expanding their universe because it was all restarted after Secret Wars, and they have a little nod that there's a little DC thing universe. And in Action Comics, Booster Gold has Booster Gold with Skeets. Skeets is like his robotic Alfred or Jarvis, which is in the joke because he goes. He calls Skeets Alfred, and then he goes, Skeets takes offence to it. And then he goes, I mean, I could call you Jarvis, but that's a whole other universe. Now, this could just be a throwaway line. And, like, it just so happened that they came within, like, similar weeks. But I like to think this maybe hints that maybe one day in the comics they'd like to do another crossover. Because they've done many fun crossovers in the past. And even a whole universe together, the Amalgam universe. But yeah, I thought it was just nice that I was dead proud of myself. I read both of these and I was like, oh, they both referenced it. And then it was a news story as well. So I was like, hey, I can do this. I can do this journalism anarchy.
How long do you think before like there's talks of like a Marvel and DC movie?
God
Like,
damn,
happening
what?
already?
No.
When Disney
When
owned
do they buy?
when Disney own absolutely everything, I reckon we'll get a Marvel versus DC versus Star Wars versus. Basically, it'll be Ready Player One, but
just for Disney.
Not then.
And Peter Pan will fly in.
yeah.
Ready Player One is a precursor to the.
It really is, because if that does well, Disney will be like, wait, we have even more properties, and it's like, oh no, what have you set up here? It's just a little kid's imagination. Just, mind you, the Lego Movie sort of maybe started all that,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Lego Movie had charm.
but it was good,
Yeah,
and it,
was
yeah,
good.
had charm. Yeah, so that was my little comic spiel. It's like there's cool crossovers.
There's some crossovers
And,
happening.
yeah, it was a conclusion to Booster Gold's thing, and Booster Gold has been written incredibly in this, and I'm so glad he's back in Rebirth, and he's going to be teaming up with Batman soon. It's going to be so good.
See, isn't
One thing that's irked me,
Isn't he out now?
it's 998, issue 998.
Isn't he out now? He's gone.
Yeah, 999. She's going to be a normal Superman story, and I want to get 1,000, so I probably will get 99 and 1,000. So they've irked me out of £3 with no booster.
Yeah, it's kinda-
But no, there's a cool thing with Booster. Booster goes because Superman wants to. It's all about Oz. He wants to see if his dad was pulled away by Dr. Manhattan, and if what Oz says is right, and he is his dad. So he goes and he sees his whole planet die. It's horrible. It's like it's stuff that brings people to tears. When Kevin Smith saw Barry Allen's see his mum die, brought him to tears. Also brought me to tears. Seeing Kevin Smith cry, and also that scene. But yeah, this was very emotional. Like Superman sees his whole family and his whole planet die in front of him, and he can do nothing. And then, spoiler: Lois's dad die. And Booster's like, "Oh no, I can't have Superman see this." So Booster breaks his one rule about changing time. And he was like, well, technically it's our future almost. So he breaks his one rule, and he's like, "Oh, that's going to be a load of paperwork, just so Superman doesn't have to see." His whole family died twice, like his two different families die. So that was nice, and it just goes to show Booster, good guy. But yeah, March Madness.
We've
Marvel.
got. Can I?
So-
Shall I do a little introduction for this, Sly?
Yeah, okay.
We've got some polls up online. We will have every Sunday on our Facebooks and on our Twitters.
Yeah.
If you head to either one of those, you will see little polls for our own dream Marvel March Madness Avengers dream team.
Yeah, so how this came about, how this came about was like literally we were just talking, like, because we made our own Justice League teams and we had all the colours and everything, and it was all all hunky dory. And then Avengers came out with a new site, and we were like, oh, let's try and make our own. And we were really not struggling with our, like, we were like, oh my goodness, there's so much choice. Because like, I feel like for DC we have our particular characters, like we like to interact, but like with Marvel, because they have so many big events. it's fun to see them all interact. So we were sort of like, oh, how are we going to do this? And basically what we've done is week by week, we've split up into cool little groups. Do you want to talk about what week 1 was?
I do. Week 1 was our favourites, was the Spider People and was the X-Men that have been part of the Avengers. Shall I go through the candidates? Shall I say who we had?
Yeah.
So for the Spider People, we had Peter Parker as Spider-Man, Miles Morales as Spider-Man, we had Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, and we had the wild card, which was Sandman. You people have voted, and our winner for the Spider People round is Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So he is our first contender and our first Avenger into our team.
Into our
And
Geek
for
of the
my
Week Avengers team.
personal faves, the X-Men that have been members. We've had Wolverine, we've had Rogue, we've had Beast, and we've had Sabretooth. You people chose
Sabretooth the wild card.
Sabretooth the Wildcat. You people chose online on my Twitters and on Facebook, and you voted for Wolverine. So we have Peter Parker and Wolverine. And
Are you sure Bendis wasn't an influence in this? You voted for Beast.
Did you vote for Beast? Do you know what? I voted for Beast as well. I wanted Beast.
I
also wanted Sandman.
I was gonna say this is a very
Not my Avenger.
this is very much a Bendis thing because like when Bendis took over the Avengers, these were the 2 Avengers he introduced back into the team. He was like, they're cool, I like them. So now they're in the team, but like it's funny. I thought Beast would have been cool because Beast plays the like he always
smart
flips,
guy,
doesn't
yeah.
he, between X-Men and Avengers.
I vote.
Wolverine's thing is that he doesn't work well in a team.
Yeah.
But hey, fair enough. The people have spoken. So
I vote.
It's hilarious because
Who
they
am I
just
to
keep
say?
forcing him into teams. Like the Canadian one is the Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight, yep.
X-Men, Avengers. Like they just keep forcing him into teams. It's like, no, I'm a solo
Those-
guy.
those
I'm the
two-
best at what I do, and what I do is work alone.
Peter Parker and Wolverine. Spider-Man and Wolverine are the 2 characters that they include in Marvel titles that aren't doing really well. It's like
Yeah.
they shove them in a title that isn't really working.
Oh, so
and
Avengers.
Then people can, yeah, and then people can buy them.
Yeah.
But next week, week 2 on Sunday, if you want to check out our Facebooks and Twitters,
Yeah, it should be
There
up
will be-
for hopefully longer than a day.
hopefully, yeah, I messed up. It was
No, yeah.
we have the originals and the Illuminati.
So with the originals, we'll run down who it is. Basically, if you feel like someone's not been included, they're probably included later on. So with the originals, we've done Ant-Man for Hulk and Wasp. Now you're like, oh, why is Iron Man not in there? Because he's with the Illuminati. And Illuminati is Iron Man, Black Panther, Black Bolt, and Namor. And if you're saying, where's Mr. Fantastic and all that? Well, just keep tuning in and you'll find out soon enough. Yeah, so next week, originals and Illuminati. So get
Please
voting,
do, yeah. No,
guys.
have a look at the
we've
polls. We're slowly throughout the end of March. We will have a full-on team. We will have Spider-Man, Wolverine, and then hopefully
all the full
some other-
shebangs. Yeah, we've got 8 members, and it actually works out pretty cool. I reckon we have a little discussion on who we'd.
I was gonna.
So, should we go originals first?
I
So
was
we've
gonna
got
say-
Ant-Man for Hulk and Wasp.
Well, first of all, I know for what your vote was. What, Matt? Your Spider People was
Oh, I think I'd probably voted for Peter Parker.
yeah, Peter. I had Sandman. I wanted Sandman in it. I just want to see that. I
Just
just want to see that
wild.
really wild.
I didn't vote because
Did
I
you
didn't
not?
know if we were going to do the whole thing of like, oh, we can't influence the
Oh,
vote.
I voted.
No, no
Oh.
vote is a vote for Wolverine.
Yeah,
That's true.
so true. But yeah, so
So for
what
the
about
originals?
originals?
The originals, I want. I'm probably gonna say Ant-Man. Ant-Man or Thor, maybe. Oh, Hulk. Oh, goddamn.
Oh, Wasp.
No, Wasp.
Well, they're the 4 options.
I tell you
so,
what. I'll tell you what.
Doing well there.
It's how I'll be feeling on the day. Probably Ant-Man at the moment. Probably. Don't do
Okay,
that.
no, I'm not gonna do it.
Probably Ant-Man at the moment, and then for the Illuminati, yeah, it'll be Black Panther.
Yeah,
probably
Black
Panther in there.
Panther's it. What about you, Matt?
Okay, so who are my options for the original?
So
Spirit,
for
Spirit.
originals, you've got Ant-Man for Wasp or Hulk. Type in the thing.
I will. I'll
Because
type
that's
in the-
clearer to see, because that's very small.
Let's type it on the right.
See, I'm trying to think. Would I go for Hulk? Because Wolverine you could kind of class as muscle, but
Yeah,
then Hulk is more muscle. So
that's even more muscle.
But then again, you want to keep things varied. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I go for Ant-Man. I probably go for
Yeah.
Ant-Man. And then for the Illuminati, who's my options there?
Iron Man, Black Panther, Black
There you go.
Bolt,
They're all on there.
or
So
Namor.
the first 4 are the originals, and the first 4 are the.
I would probably go for Black Panther.
I think Black
Because he- I
Black
think-
Panther's the good go-to.
Yeah, because Iron Man and Black Panther, I'm sure, are like equal intelligence, but only one of them is an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's the technology and intelligence, yeah, because that's what, when thinking about this and going through, it's like, there's some characters you do need, like, it's like, say, you need the muscle, you need the intelligence and stuff like that, and you need the quips as well. So I'm like, the quippy character, I was like, Spider-Man fills the quips, Wolverine's sort of got the muscle, and then Black Panther's sort of like, yeah, that's the technology. It's the technology, and also in weeks to come, there's going to be like leaders, and I was like, maybe have Iron Man as leader, but I'm like, nah.
Who would you have in the originals and the Illuminati? Who's your
The
choice?
originals, I'm sorry guys, I won't have Ant-Man. This is the Ant-Man who created Ultron and beat his wife.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Thor's a bit boring. I'd probably go for it's a toss between Hulk and Wasp.
Yeah.
I'm looking at what we've got in the future.
Yeah, no, Hulk.
Yeah, probably Hulk. To be honest, just because you can never have too much muscle, can you? And also, like Wolverine and Hulk, they're definitely lasting. Unless Hulk wants to turn into
Zombie or Venom.
Turns into Banner.
Oh yeah,
I was
true.
gonna say if he wants to turn into Banner, then that gets a bit of a downfall. But yeah, no, I think
So yeah,
Hulk's a bit of a liability though.
Yeah.
That's the only
But
thing.
then again, so is Wolverine.
But then they can cancel each other out. Is my hope. Like if Hulk's like raging, you just set Wolverine on him. If Wolverine's raging, you just send Hulk on him.
anybody that can say the phrase "sun's getting real low," "sun's getting real low,"
Sun's getting real low.
"sun's getting real low." Ah, no.
Get Spider-Man to do that. Sun's getting real.
So, yeah, that's our
Low sun's getting. I don't know what to say.
Those are
but
our-
yeah, that's the whole.
Those are polls. If
Yeah.
you, next Sunday, check up on Facebook and Twitter, and we will have them up. Please take a vote.
So that's the whole. That's gonna be like the whole of March. It's gonna be like 2 members each time, and then by the end of March, we're gonna have our own little cool Avengers team, which has basically been voted by you guys and made by you guys, and partly us, and apparently maybe a lot by us if we're voting.
Yeah. Well, I'm voting. I need.
Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna be impartial.
Great.
I'm gonna be an impartial marshal.
I'm not. I need my Avengers in there.
Is there anything from the chat before
No.
we end the show?
Nothing from the chat. Nope. We've had. No, we haven't had anything a lot. Just been updating about the Black Panther spoilers.
All right, yeah, no worries then. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for coming on the show,
I was
Matt.
gonna say
Pleasure.
thank
You have been a pleasure,
Thank you very
and
much for having me.
if you ever want to come back, you can, and you don't have to do your origin story anymore.
Oh,
Your
yeah,
uncle
true.
doesn't
Your
have
sequel
to die.
next time. It's your sequel.
Your uncle doesn't have to die again. It's fine.
My sequel would be my sequel. Oh man.
You're
Oh,
recasting
wow.
War Machine.
It's got it.
Yeah.
You're recasting Grant.
I have to recast my black friend.
Grant is Matt's friend, and you know what? We might have Grant on, maybe on his own. That's gonna be interesting to see.
I mean, he will antagonize you
because with Grant and
No.
Jacob, that's just
No.
gonna be interesting. But we might just need
I'll
you on.
shoot in for that.
We'll need you on just for support, but definitely
just
like
to
having
rein him in.
both of you on. But
No, legit. Thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on. I
thanks
hope
for
you had
coming
fun.
on.
Thank you so much for having me.
if you're
Lovely.
listening on YouTube, thanks for doing so. Thanks for doing
you.
so. But like, if you have anything you want to comment, because obviously we have the live chat, so people have managed to come in. But if you want to comment anything, let us know. If you want to, chime in about like what you think about the Avengers team or anything we've said. If you want to go, oh Matt, your dream stuff is incredible, or if you want to destroy Matt's
Yeah.
dreams, I mean, it's a
Destroy
bit
my
harsh.
dreams, do it.
It's a bit harsh, but YouTube
Alright, destroy a lot of them.
YouTube allows you to do it. But yeah,
say
thanks guys.
Thank
Just
you. Thank you for
thanks.
listening. This has been Geek of the Week. Wednesdays 8 till 10.